TWM podcast.
We are live here at the TWM Wrestling, yes, Wrestling, we have a new name, Virtual Studios, to take you back to the 1990s, because did you know there's a war going on? Welcome to the Wednesday Night War podcast, brought to you by TWM Wrestling, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, and YouTube. We are also brought to you by Squared Circle Box. Use the code TWM News for 10% off your first order. Go over to squaredcirclebox.com to pick yourself up your first order. I am your host, hiding David Arquette, George Geal. Hello. And joining me on this little trip down memory lane, trying to find a Zamboni somewhere, is Josh Bannister.
I will drown someone in milk eventually.
Yes.
Oh no! Wait, it's beer, isn't it? Attitude Era one. It's
beer. Yeah,
well,
how are you, Josh? You okay?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Excited to speak about this new era that we have of wrestling.
Yes. This new Wednesday Night War, christened by fans.
Christened by us, marks.
The best kind of people.
Exactly. And let's get into it straight away with NXT. In quite a surprising order of the card, we had what would everyone expect to be the main event first in Adam Cole against Matt Riddle for the NXT title. A really good match, Josh. Really, really good match.
It was. I do kind of get why they led with this, because I think they started at the same time as AEW. Maybe there's a brief gap, but I remember somebody saying that they wanted to start the show with a bang.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It was a bang. It was a great match.
I personally thought there'd be a title change here. I thought with Adam Cole's real life injury and the fact that he's claiming Riddle did it, we'll listen to the storyline, have Riddle become champ and then have Cole come back at TakeOver. But no, was a really good match. I was don't like is what happens to Riddle now? I mean, he's lost here.
And
with the two wins, which we'll get onto in a bit.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done the order a bit here now. So
yeah, he really has shot down, and it's quite disappointing to have someone of his stature obviously moving down. I would probably say he could end up in the North American title picture, but
what I was thinking is because he's had a run with Volta as of late, and I'm guessing Volta Casilla has been announced for next week.
Yeah.
Will be in the War Games match because so they'll need 4 people. I'm guessing at this point it's Riddle, Kushida, and 2 more, probably Street Profits or Breezango, because why not?
Well, I don't like talking War Games. I wouldn't think it would be Undisputed Era. I think that they'd have Imperium ship over if they were to keep the Kushida Walter thing going, and maybe Riddle joined in.
It's going to be 4v4, obviously. We'll get all 4 of them. Get Volta, Casilla, and 2 more people. God knows who they're going to be, because the NXT tag division is quite literally terrible at the minute.
It is. It is very terrible. But what's not terrible is the new main event picture, as Josh mentioned. 2 other people returned to the main event scene. One of those being Finn Balor, hiding from the Fiend, who gave him an absolute pasting when we saw him about 2 months ago. Returning to NXT TV, looking even more ripped, shorter hair, and I think I agree with you, Josh, on your notes that he had a hand tattoo.
I guess there's a lot of people pointing it out on Twitter, and I watched it back earlier, and it has got a hand tattoo on it. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care anymore. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get a tattoo. They can't say anything.
Exactly. What's your opinion on him going back down to NXT?
I'm fine with it, to be quite honest, because he's clearly not going to be pushed to the level that we, the fans, expect him to be pushed at. So, and plus, there is more matches in NXT I'd rather him have than on mid-roster WWE. Like him versus Cole versus the other person will probably be the main event, possibly of the TakeOver. And to give the belt to the other person, I presume, without having Cole take the pin, because
obviously with Cole's injuries, fractured wrist, which hats off to him for trooping through that match with a fractured wrist. And to keep him as strong as possible is to have him lose the title to the other man that returned last night, which was Tomasso Ciampa, without the neck brace as well. He looked fine. He returned at the end of the night, having a stare down with Adam Cole at the top of the ramp.
No, he didn't. This is the point. He didn't stare at Adam Cole. He stared at the belt for.
That's true, actually.
And I timed this. He stared at the belt for 83 seconds. He didn't care about Adam Cole. I timed this because I wanted to know. And on Twitter, gold is now in someone else's possession. He doesn't care whose possession it's in, but he wants it back. So the only way to do that is to destroy people. And luckily for Adam Cole, he's got the belt. He has to be destroyed now.
Exactly, and I would absolutely love to see Cole, Ciampa, and Balor at the next takeover. That'd be an incredible main event. And like you say, if they were to give it back to Ciampa, go on.
If they can give the title to Ciampa, they can have Finn take the loss because Finn's
need momentum.
No, and if he stays on NXT after that, brilliant. If he doesn't, then you've got potentially a WrestleMania match because he can have his rematch with The Fiend.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, moving on to the rest of the show, we had another title match as well. Shayna Baszler, Candice LeRae for the women's title. Shayna retaining again. I think that's a stupid. I think it's a stupid decision to get her to retain again. Who's left out of the women other than Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair? There's no one left.
The other thing, why I didn't like this is because if Candice had won that, and because Io won her match against was it Mia Yim?
Yeah, Mia Yim.
Io's already beaten Candice at the last takeover, so she could then reasonably claim that she's on a title match, and a couple takeover feud between would have been amazing. And then you could have had Io probably take the belt off Candice because
she deserves it.
Yeah, and then I presume it gives Io versus Bianca Belair because there's literally there's Bianca, Io, and Rhea Ripley. Apart from that, no one's going to put the belt off Shayna now. No,
exactly. Yeah. And what I also wanted to, with SmackDown moving to Fox and then being more of a sport, not sports entertainment, more of like a, what's the word?
Sport-based field.
Sport-based, thank you. I thought Shayna would, appear on SmackDown and challenge Bayley of some kind, and would have been great to see Candice LeRae obviously win here. But it was a fantastic match between the two of them.
A great match. If Matt versus Adam couldn't have main evented, this should have main evented. No disrespect to Profits, that was a good match, but this for me was the match of the night across both brands.
It was nice to see as well that Candice to get such a strong showing as well. She hasn't really had the best showing since she debuted in NXT. She's always been sort of Johnny Gargano's wife or Io Shirai's bitch. Other than that, she's this match was like sort of coming out, and it showed everyone that hasn't seen what she's like on indie what she can do.
I'm going to say she had the perfect opponent because, unfortunately, like her husband, she does work best as an underdog babyface. In Shayna, she's got, the bullying dominant champion, who, if needed, has got her posse of awful wrestlers. So, I'm sorry, they're terrible. I get the fact that they're all brand new, but Marina Shafir can't even clap properly. I noticed this when she brought Shayna out. She claps at a stupid angle like that. She claps, brings her hands round like she's swimming.
They are hard as piss, but they can't wrestle, unfortunately.
Not yet. I mean, if the Four Horsemen versus Four Horsemen match does eventually happen, which
it'll be 2025 when they have some experience.
Let's hope. Well, I don't know with those two, but thank God Shayna and Ronda can wrestle. Jesus Christ, it's going to be rough. But yeah, back to Candice. Yeah, back to Candice. Not how bad Marina Shafir is. Candice will get her moment, hopefully soon. But the NXT Women's Division is just. It probably peaks with Asuka, but a couple of title runs for other people would not have been Like, the Fatal 4-Way at the start of the year, she should have lost then. She should have lost to Bianca. How long can NXT realistically keep the belt on Shayna before people start to think, oh, well, there's no point watching anymore because we know Shayna wins?
Exactly. I actually have got to the point this year of skipping her matches because I know she's just going to win.
And that's it. You know the person she's facing will come close. There might be a ref bump, but you know at the end of the day, hashtag Shayna wins, lol.
Yeah, exactly. But move on to the rest of the card. We get the main event, which was Fish and O'Reilly of Disputed Era beating Street Profits in their main event. Street Profits accompanied by Wale singing them out to the ring in one of the weirdest celebrity appearances I have ever seen, because he just was trying to get that crowd hyped and no one was interested.
Literally not a care in the world.
When you've got Street Profits as like the banging theme song that they've got, and you've just got Wale running out going, when I say Street, you say Profits, and everyone's like, oh,
no one does it.
No one's interested. A weird choice for a main event. You would have thought that it would have been one of the previous two matches, but they went with it, and it was a pretty decent tag match, like they four always have. Pete Dunne beat Danny Burch in a battle of the who can hit you harder in the English fucking hard nut matches. Damian Priest came out afterwards and laid Dunne out for some reason. Interesting feuds being set up there.
Why not? I mean, I'm slightly annoyed that Pete will probably have to lose this feud because their new shiny toy, and he has to go over.
It's because he looks like Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, to be fair, I can see when he first debuted, I thought, I literally thought they got the guy from Aquaman. Is it Jason Momoa or whatever his name is? Yeah, I thought, what the hell is he on NXT?
I saw him when he was Punishment Martinez at Ring of Honor in Croydon or Crystal Palace Company about last year, and every time he did anything, everyone just did the Roman Reigns at him.
Which is, he's a decent wrestler. I mean, he is. He's just basically Keith Lee, but very careful in what I said. But yeah, he's careful. But yeah, why not? This is going to be a feud that will happen. Hopefully, not on a takeover, because Pete Dunne deserves better than Roman Reigns, Jason Momoa, love child.
But he is like Finn Balor, a man that could probably eat a loss and it wouldn't really affect him.
I was going to say, it happened at TakeOver. He took the pin. He's popular enough now. Yeah,
exactly. He's all good. Shirai did beat Yim. Interesting that you put here, Yim should be a heel.
Her whole... She's done her best work as a wrestler when she's been a bullying heel. And hers... Look at her match against Shayna at TakeOver, whatever. I think it was at the last TakeOver.
Yeah, the really bad one.
The fans just didn't care because it's hard to connect with her now. Shayna's a dominant heel, and they've got Shayna, Io. Actually, it's about it in heels for women.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, she's a lot better. She works a lot better as a heel, and she's a good wrestler, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Io's best moonsault. She's done wonders as a heel. So if you're well the child, you're automatically amazing. So,
He's got a fair point.
And you're a wrestler, that takes a huge amount of skill, because I couldn't move in them. The trousers.
Unless you're 48 years old and your name's Chris Jericho.
That was horrifying.
Velveteen Dream did come out and did the Velveteen Experience, and how amazingly cool is this guy? Just sat on a plush sofa surrounded by 8 women asking him random questions that I don't think they really cared about. Short and all of it was his promo on Roddy Strong. He wants his North American title back, and I would be happy to see that match once again. But I don't think they'd give it back to Dream. I think they'd keep it on Roddy.
Yeah, so they'll keep it on Roddy. Dream will probably move into the NXT title picture after TakeOver, maybe, depending on who's champion, because he's too good now for the North American title. I'd rather see it in the hands of workhorse people like Roddy and maybe Pete Dunne. Make it like the IC title used to be. Make it like the workhorse, like the 25-minute epic matches.
Yeah, it makes me really sick that he's 24 years old.
Yeah, it's 23, the 24th of December.
No, it's August. I've just looked.
That's depressing. He's only 3 months. He's 3 weeks older than me.
He's 3 weeks older than me as well.
Yeah.
No, younger than me. He's younger than me.
He's 24
yeah, but I agree with you though. Move into the title, main event title picture. Use the North American as a workhorse.
However, I want to stay in NXT because him on the main roster is just going to be a disaster.
Massively. I completely agree with you. And to wrap up NXT, they've given us a little preview on what's going to happen next week. We're going to get Gulak versus Leo Rush for the NXT WWE Cruiserweight title, whatever they want to call it.
NXT now because they've all moved to NXT. Because
is it going to be yellow? Are we going to get a new belt next week and it's going to be yellow?
Oh God, I hope so. I really hope it's a bright yellow belt.
We also get... Go on.
And about the AEW Women's title later because that was freaking awful.
It was, I do agree. And we also are getting Volta versus Shida next week for the WWE UK title, or NXT UK title, sorry. Two very interesting matches set up and already showing AEW. They're going to try their best to be the most dominant brands on a Wednesday night. But saying AEW, let's move on to them.
We are brought to you by Squared Circle Box, a monthly professional wrestling subscription box filled with mystery goodies from around the wrestling world. From just £25 a month, you can get t-shirts, signed photos, DVDs, books, trinkets, doohickeys, it's got it all. Sign up before the 21st of each month to get that month's box. Do it now at squaredcirclebox.com and use the code TWMNews for 10% off your first order. That's TWMNews for 10% off at squaredcirclebox.com. Do it now.
Huh? Let's move to AEW now. It's JK, also known as Jack Swagger from WWE, or as that noise I did make from 5-Star Wrestling, made his debut, joining LAX, Jericho, and Sammy Guevara in laying out the Elite, Dustin Rhodes, and Cody. I don't actually know if Cody's included in the Elite anymore. Really interesting, thrown together faction.
Why? Why not? Wrestling. AEW was short of stable because the Elite are just done now. So yeah, why not throw stable together with Jack Swagger, Chris Jericho, a guy who dresses as a panda? Best tag team on the planet. Why not?
Well, the funny thing is that Jack Swagger's that is apparently is quite a real belief of his. He doesn't really like foreign people.
Oh, his Twitter profile is very left. Is it left wing or right? I can't remember which one Trump is.
One of the wings.
One of the wings, but yeah. So sticking him in a faction with three Mexicans and a Canadian can only go well for him.
Exactly, and also at the end of the match, there, Jon Moxley came down to take out Kenny Omega during the match, and was it the end or was it in the middle? I can't remember now.
Start of the match, and it annoyed me because it should have been thrown out because the match had been going for about 5 minutes, and then Moxley rocks up, attacks the contestant, attacks the wrestler, and the rest just like, oh well, off you go, boys, have fun, and then he batters him throughout the arena.
Exactly, puts him through a glass table as well, which looks like a pretty interesting spot. And I'm very surprised he did his what's he calling it now? Death Rider.
Paradigm shift.
What's it
Paradigm
called?
shift.
Is that what it's called now?
Paradigm shift. Well, that's what Tony Schiavone called it. So I'm going to go.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. He did that to him through a table, so he left back first on a load of broken glass.
Looked really. Not only did Omega go through the glass, he also landed right on the top of his head. So that looked astonishingly painful. And the match shouldn't have been. The match should have ended. It's a DQ. But no, the ref's just like, oh, hello. Yep, off you go, lads. Have fun. We'll just leave your man short. Just don't worry about it.
A really interesting point of the match of obviously when Hager or Swagger, whatever you want to call him, appeared. Commentators called him Hager. Jericho called him. I thought he was going by his real name. But
let's assume he's going by Hager because Jericho's just old now. He doesn't know who anybody is. And why not?
To your point, you've written in the notes here, LAX aren't called LAX because TNA or Impact own the rights to that name, so they're not allowed to be called it.
Oh, that can't be true.
Apparently so.
All over Indies.
Yeah, but they don't work for them anymore.
Because at no point did they call them LAX, like Ortiz and Santana. No, just call them LAX. We know them as LAX.
Yeah.
Impact aren't going to sue them, have they? They've got no money.
But this sort of segment is going to set up some really interesting matches. Obviously, Jericho will probably go for Omega in a title feud. The Elite and Santana and Ortiz, the Bucks and Santana and Ortiz will go one-on-one. Guevara and Cody will continue what they're doing, and then we'll get Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager in 2019.
The feud. I mean, their next pay-per-view, they've already got Jericho versus Cody, so that's a match.
Of course they do.
Hager versus Goldust, because sure. LA, they'll have, I'm presuming the tag finals won't be. You see, because next week it's Young Bucks versus whatever I forgot what the name is, Private Party. They're not going to win that. Ortiz and Santana are going to end up costing them, probably. It'll be a match, and then Sammy Guevara will end up facing MJF. Why not? Let's pick a Cardiff person.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. An interesting appearance last night as well on AEW. It was not a person; it was a title. If it's to be believed that the AEW Women's Championship looks like a Japanese belt from the 60s.
It's tiny.
It's so small.
As soon as it came out and was that smaller, I immediately knew that Rio was going to win, because they would not give as tall and as broad as Nyla Rose that stupid toy belt. Literally, it was as bad as it was the worst belt I've ever seen. I don't know who designed it, but they need to be fired.
Exactly. But as you can tell by Josh's rants there, Nyla Rose didn't win. It was Riho who's been crowned the first ever AEW Women's Champion, a woman I've never really seen anything of except for her couple of matches she had in AEW. But I think it was a decent match.
Good. It was Nyla Rose's best singles match, which admittedly isn't saying much because she's apparently still a bit green. But what I do love is that they finally made sense. They've turned her heel, because obviously after the match, I'll do this one because this match annoys me. Nyla did the Hogan kick out as soon as she hit 3, arm goes up. Hate that. Michael Nakazawa decides, I'll interview Riho. Why not? Nyla Rose decides to kill him. Reason. I think I can only assume because he brought her in, Kenny Omega rocks up and begs Nyla not to stop. I know begs Nyla to kill Riho and then turn on Kenny and just throw him through a table.
I think the reason Omega came out was I was watching a Straight to Hell by Josh's favourite group, Cultaholic, and his favourite person, Ross, as well, interviewing Bea Priestley, and she said that Kenny Omega is extremely, extremely heavily involved in the women's division. So I think that's the reason he came out.
Why not? And also because I've just Googled her. She is Kenny Omega's favourite Joshi competitor.
Okay.
Like, he brought her in personally.
Fair enough.
So why not get that real? But Nyla as a heel makes absolute sense. She's the monster heel. She'll end up being backup for someone again.
I reckon she'll join with Brandy and Kong.
I was thinking Bea Priestley because she's got that feud with Britt Baker.
Oh.
Britt did commentary last night on the match, which she was. Others, it's not as bad as I was expecting, but she still wasn't great.
That's an interesting point. I like that.
B won't need backup because Britt will try to beat her. Then out comes Nyla Rose. Comes Bea Priestley's heavy. It makes sense. Bee's she's still an inexperienced wrestler. She'll be better in short, sharp matches, which only last 2-3 minutes, and she ends up killing her opponent. She just get some jobbers in. Why not? And then have Nyla squash them.
Yeah, for Bee's amusement.
I do like the fact as well that AEW have copied WWE's mentality of, it's your hometown. Oh, you're not going to win here.
Yeah. I think that's just an unspoken wrestling rule.
Hometown win? Nah, mate.
Nah. The rest of the card was, I'd say it was a pretty decently set up card. Cody beat Sammy Guevara. Sammy seemed to, fake the sportsmanship, shook his hand, but Jericho attacked afterwards, and we all know what happened at the end of that. Big, lovely melee. MJF beat Brandon Cutler.
No.
I will say I can't stand MJF because I can't stand his character. He's so smarmy.
As I said, that's the point. If every time you want to see him, you want to kill him, he's clearly doing his job.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't he like 23?
Yes, he is.
That again makes me feel really ill.
What gets me is I never knew he had a finisher. I always thought he wouldn't be like underhanded tactics like low blows and roll-ups, but no, he actually has a finisher. Not only is it
I don't think I've ever seen him use one except for last night. I think that was the first time we've ever seen him bang one out.
I saw him use one once in the MLW, but I think that was about it. He beat up Joey Ryan.
Brilliant. Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, I think is how I want to go with this one. Plus Jay and Silent Bob as they've got out. And Helico and Jack Evans got into an argument with them, and then Private Party gave Smith and Mewes some drinks. That was the segment.
I didn't know who Geal. I know who Kevin Smith is, but I didn't know who that person was next to him. And this is how uncultured I am. I literally thought it was a female at one point. Then he stood up and I thought, oh no, you're not female. Oh, it's a film. What the hell's Jane Silent Bob? No idea. Apparently it's a sequel or a reboot, whatever. Don't know who they are. Won't see the film.
Absolutely, yeah. I have no idea. I think it's just very American things. And there was an image floating them around of Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes alongside Chris Jericho and Tony Khan sporting the new AEW tag titles.
Because Chris Jericho is in the film. He plays a villain in the because in the segment they announced that Chris Jericho has a part in the film as a villain. Oh, of course he does.
Oh, fair enough. Another lovely. This is another promo, but this one's a bit better. From SCU, Scorpio Sky did a spot-on impression of Obama, and they also did a. It was like deciding who's going to be their two competitors out of the three in the tag team term competition tournament. That's what I'm after.
Yeah, they picked. I can't remember the picks. Oh, they picked Daniels and Kazarian.
Of course they were. They're like one of the best tag teams ever.
Who are they facing first round? I can't remember who they end up facing.
I will have a. Oh god, yeah, this is going to be a Google of who the hell are they facing.
Because I know that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus have got Lucha Bros. Party Young, best friends.
Best friends, yeah. So you got, so the Lucha Brothers and Express, your Private Party and the Young Bucks, and Best Friends and SoCal Uncensored. The winner of the Best Friends and SoCal Uncensored goes on to face the Dark Order, who got the bye in the first round.
Why not? I hope the final isn't Young Bucks versus SCU because that'd just be predictable.
Yeah, it won't be
predictable. I genuinely hope it's having Private Pie or the dinosaur and his kids.
The Jurassic Express.
Yeah, that's the name. Look, it's a dinosaur that does flips. Get him on every show.
Exactly.
I'm bored of seeing Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros or versus SCU. Give the belts to a dinosaur that does flips.
Exactly.
Get out of wrestling.
Exactly. Saying the Lucha Bros, they did interrupt that. The two teams did have a brawl, obviously, setting up possibly what could be a semi-final round match on October 23rd, but we don't know. And the final match of the night was Pac versus Paige, the match we were meant to get months ago, but we got it on free TV, which is an interesting choice.
What I got is what is the direction for them? Pac obviously is building up wins because he'll challenge for the title soon, but it's Paige. I mean, he's lost 2 on the bounce now, and he lost this one. Basically, I'm not saying it was a squash, but he lost it far easier than he should have done.
What annoys me is Paige has always been the sort of unsung hero of the Bullet Club. Like when they were in Japan and Ring of Honor, you obviously had Cody, you had Kenny, you had the Bucks, then you had him and Marty Scurll. And he was always the unsung hero. He was always putting on, incredible performances and, just sort of going under the radar. And it seems like his own friends don't really know what to do with him in a minute.
I mean, I guess what they're going to do is rebuild him. I'm guessing that he's starting at the bottom again. He'll go on this losing streak and he'll come back and challenge for the title. But right now, I find myself not caring anymore. Up until the match where he faced Kip Sabian, can't remember where that was. I was rooting for him, but his match against Kip was boring. Jericho attacked him and got more cheers. And Jericho, I get why they gave the belt to Jericho. It's Chris Jericho. He's one of the best ever, and he gives you ratings. But with Pac or Hangman, I can't hope they build Hangman up again because he's a very good. He's tremendous. Like you said, he's an unsung hero of Bullet Club and the Elite. But I don't know. I find myself getting more and more worried about him now.
Yeah, I would love to see AEW bring in like a mid-title belt because I think absolutely own.
I'm gonna say a mid-card belt would do wonders for people like Hangman and
Kip
Sabian. Genuinely, I forgot he was part of AEW until I think somebody mentioned him. I thought, oh crap, yeah, he's still there.
I forgot about him until I saw the gif of him getting backdropped by Paige onto the ramp.
Oh yeah. I just find it slightly out of all the English talent they had available, no disrespect to Havoc or Kip Sabian, because they are both tremendous. Jimmy Havoc once nearly drowned me in beer. Was there no one else?
Yeah, I agree.
Kip's great, don't get me wrong, I love Kip, but there's a lot of good English talent out there. Kip's gonna hear this now and end up murdering me.
Well, this will be the last podcast Josh appears on.
Yeah. So if I'm found dead, it's by Kip Sabian and his very cute dogs. Please tell my loved ones I loved them, and tell Daniel McIver I'm not a pissing Tory.
What I really need now is that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music when the lights come down, because it is question time, Josh. Who was the better brand? What was the better show?
I'm going to go for this week NXT because they had Cole Riddle, I've forgotten the Baszler, Candice. I forgot what we talked about half an hour ago. And in my opinion, they had the better matches, and they had the return of Balor and Ciampa. And AEW, what I haven't realised about AEW, it just occurred to me, they didn't do a very good job of promoting next week. Like, they didn't seem to promote other matches. They promoted the tag tournament briefly. But apart from that, we only know one match for next week, and that's the Private Party versus Young Bucks thing. Like, if you want to keep your fans invested, let us know what's going to happen in matches. Like, give us something, not just one match in a segment.
No, I completely agree with you. NXT was the more superior show this week. I don't get us wrong. AEW was a very good show for their first ever show. But WWE and NXT just put their all their cards in one hand and put all the chips in, if you're using some poker references like AEW like to use, and just put some big boys out there, with Cole and Riddle being the first match, and then you had Shayna and Candice, the return of Finn Balor and Tomasso Ciampa, Fish and O'Reilly and the Street Profits being the main event. Great shines by every other single person, and like Josh says, they've actually promoted what's going on next week, whereas AEW sort of when you have to find out.
Can NXT keep this up, because the viewing figures are going to be released in a minute, in about an hour or so, and I've no doubt AEW will have won, because it's their first new show and people will want to see it. NXT keep up this momentum. If they've got a pay-per-view at roughly the same time as I'm pretty sure far from Takeover, wherever it is.
So is it AEW Full Gear? Is it Full Gear? Is that what it's called?
November 9th, I think it is.
November 9th, you're right. And NXT Takeover. What's the next one?
No idea. Whoever Survivor Series is.
It'd be War Games then, wouldn't it? Yeah, War Games, November 23rd.
So there's a couple of weeks gap, admittedly, but yeah, AEW, they're good, but they obviously will improve because as it goes on and they find their feet, they will start to find those little niches that'll make them better. The tip is for NXT to rotate the roster as best they can, but have as many people on who they know have got genuine star power.
And have a 30-minute Iron Man match between Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee as the main event.
Yes. I thought it was to Dominik Mysterio for a second there. I thought, oh my God.
Yes! No, yeah, Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee main event.
Dominik Mysterio versus his dad, Volta.
Yes! Volta versus Dominik Mysterio. Book it now. But no, I agree with you. I think, yeah, WWE need to keep this momentum. They need to take what they perceived as what they would probably think is a winning week, even though the viewership might say otherwise. They would probably take that as a winning week because of the star power that they had. But they just need to make sure they don't let it slip and keep this momentum going and don't exhaust themselves too quickly for then AEW to then jump straight ahead as they're obviously starting a slow train up. And when they hit their peak, you don't want WWE to do the opposite and hit the floor. And that has been it for this wrestling Wednesday Night War podcast. Thank you for joining us. Please do follow us on the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at TWM Wrestles. We've got new taglines now. So please do follow us over there. Subscribe to us, and listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, and YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts from. Go over to twm.news right now to read to yourself some lovely articles, which we're going up throughout the week. AEW, WWE, NXT, and everything you absolutely love. Josh, please plug your social media.
Social media is at Bannister007 on Twitter.
And I am at George_Geal_ on Twitter and at George_Geal_95 on Instagram. This has been the Wrestling Wars podcast. And until next week.